The governor urged lawmakers to think not just about what to do right now, but about how changes made today can impact future generations. The governor talked about smart spending, and we asked NMIF correspondent Gwyneth Dolan to explore what lawmakers think responsible budgeting looks like and to check in on concerns about open government.
We're showing at 8:30 in the morning. That's not true. It's going to be it.
The state has $800 million in new money, and the governor has big plans for new and expanded programs. I'm here with Senator George Munoz. You've been through this many times. Are you concerned that when the price of oil drops, which it will eventually, that the state might not be able to honor some of those new commitments?
Deeply concerned because we've seen this before. We've seen what happens in a recession through 09 and 010, and we're barely back recovering right now. And the thing that most important is it's one-time money. So if you take one-time money and use it, it's gone. Our reoccurring money is only up by $250 million. And so how do we best use one-time money for long-term fixes and create sustainability? Because in 10 and 11, we cut about $1.5 billion out of the budget. And it's very hard. It hurts deep, and it's hard to recover from.
So do you think with some of this surplus, you want to spend it in these one-time ways and not build recurring programs?
Well, we want to put as much as we can in our reserves. That's the first thing we need to do, is shore up everything we have in our reserves, spend it on one-time money, strategically placed, where everybody can get a benefit.
Well, I was going to ask you about the Opportunity Scholarship. The governor wants free college. This would be recurring money. Another analysis, the LFC said it would be $50 million. Does this uncertainty about that cost worry you?
The uncertainty about the free college worries me about what happens to institutions, because we create winners and losers. And so when we create those winners and losers, where are kids going to go? They're going to naturally go to the four-year universities, and the junior colleges are going to shrink up. The dollar amount, I mean, somebody's got to get a hard number, and we got to cap tuition costs, because we've seen that with the lottery scholarship. Is all of a sudden we paid for college, and the institutions increased tuition.
Well, we've been talking about fixes for the lottery scholarship for several years. Should we do that first?
We should. We should fix the programs we have so they work correctly, and then we should move on to what we need to do.
Michael was a navigator on the Flying Fortress, and he came to Navigator. Senator White, I want to talk to you about the Opportunity Scholarship.
Sure.
Kind of a big amount of money, but it's an uncertain amount of money. Is the risk of that uncertainty worth the reward?
Well, let me tell you where we're at on that. We don't agree with using the money for scholarships. We think we ought to put that in selected areas. You know, we're trying to get more nurses, trying to get more doctors. So on the legislative side, we're more interested in kind of paying that in a targeted area to scholarships that already exist out there, and maybe even supplementing the lottery scholarship, which, you know, is right now it's about 60% of tuition. It used to be 100%, but when we start giving free things to everybody, what happens is the tuition went up, everybody started enrolling in college, enrollment went up, and the fund is no longer totally solvent right now because of that. So if we're going to put the money into it, rather than creating a new program, we would like to fund the existing programs with that money. Same amount of money, but just in different directions. And the problem is, if you create a new program, then you've got to continue to fund it every year after year after year. And we're very wary of whether that revenue stream is going to be able to continue that we have right now.
But you do have some new ideas for what to do with this surplus money. You want to give some of it back to the taxpayers?
Well, that's one of my underlying ideas this year, is let's give some back to the taxpayer. It's a great year to do that. A couple of ways to do that. We can, there's the military exemption that's been out there before. In a couple of years we've talked about that and said wait till we have a good time, and when we've got the money to do it, maybe this is the year. I would like to also exempt the Social Security taxation, which is kind of a double taxation. You're taxed on that money before you put it in. You get your gross receipts tax, or your gross receipts, and you're taxed on that, and then they take the Social Security out of it, and then you receive it 20, 30, or 40 years later, and you're taxed on it again. So we're looking at trying to exempt that in the state of New Mexico.
The governor talked about fiscal responsibility in her speech this week. I know that resonates with a lot of folks. The state employees pension fund is in trouble, big trouble. Is shoring up that pension fund, should that be a bigger priority than new programs?
Well, let me say a couple things. I wouldn't say it's in big trouble. It's not going to affect current retirees and probably retirees for the next 20 or 30 years. It's a matter of, can we fund that type of retirement program that people are going to retire 20 or 30 years from now? So that's kind of the thing we want to make sure we can do. So is it a big problem? I don't know if it's a big problem, but it needs some help. It needs some changes. The sooner we make the changes, the better funding that program is going to be. So yeah, I think we ought to do that. It's a priority in the legislative session or the legislature, and it's a priority for the governor, and I think we're going to try to make some changes there to help that fund.
Children are at the forefront of many of the issues we're talking about this legislative session. Last year, the legislature created a task force to look at how the state can better protect children in danger. I'm here with Representative Kelly Fajardo. Representative, we've all seen these terrible headlines. People are invested in how this task force goes. How is it working out?
That's a great question. So as you know, the task force was established last year. They got a late start, which was a concern of mine to begin with. They started in October. The marijuana task force was already ending before we got started. When we did get started, we had a really rough start, even getting the initial meeting off the ground. It changed abruptly less than 24 hours after the meeting happened. The first meeting was open to the public. It was a little chaotic. Since then, all of the meetings since have been closed to the public. They've also been closed to us as legislators. And as
the secretary said all these meetings were going to be public.
Correct, and that's a big problem. My understanding is there was a vote or there was a decision made to close these. I'm being told by task force members, they're the ones who are contacting me concerned that these meetings are closed. We actually had a state legislator drive all the way from Eunice to Albuquerque to attend one of these meetings, and as a state legislator, he was not permitted to attend.
What is the public missing out on if the public can't go?
So the task force is a group of stakeholders to really take a deep dive into CYFD. We know there's problems. We can't fix these problems unless we know how to deal with it. And I don't know of any other task force that would be closed and why they would be closed. And even if for some reason the Attorney General comes back and says they should be closed, they've made a decision also to move these meetings within less than 24 hours notice. The last meeting was moved from Albuquerque to Santa Fe with less than 24 hours notice to all the task force members. We had members who were not able to attend, and then the meeting got canceled entirely because since it was moved to Santa Fe, we had a snow day.
So if the Attorney General says it's legal to do it the way they're doing now, will you ask the governor to do it differently?
Absolutely. This is important, and this is important because these are our kids. And one thing I want to make very clear, the problems that we have with CYD is not the current administration's. They inherited a problem. Our secretary inherited a problem, and we all know that. But we can't fix it unless we can all get together, all have a seat at the table, and start having these conversations.
We're going to keep a close eye on good government issues this session as a part of the Your New Mexico Government Project. That's a partnership with newsrooms across the state to bring you closer to the people who represent you and make sure you have access to them. At the Capitol for New Mexico in Focus, I'm Gwyneth Doland.